let's get into our downward dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out as we go into our plank. Go down and upward dog.
Oh my gosh, are we filming an episode? Oh my gosh.
Well.
Oh my gosh, okay. Oh my gosh.
How do I look? Do I look yoga fit for this? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ticket to Anywhere podcast. I am Trizzy.
And I'm Leah.
We are two voices, two views, and two ways to venture anywhere. We are so excited because we just finished an episode with Meggie, the Mindful Traveler. And we wanted to kind of let you guys know how we travel physically, mentally healthy. You know, all the physical side, all the emotional side, all the mental side. Post-recovery, we all cover it.
Yep.
That's why we're outdoors enjoying this beautiful land
In
this
nature,
earth.
yes. We were thinking of a way to follow up with Meggie's episode on your mental health while traveling. And we're like, well, why don't we talk about like staying healthy in general, like of mind and body while we're traveling. So we have very different ways, but our own ways of doing that. And we're definitely curious to hear what are your best tips for staying sound on the road.
You guys will definitely hear how I learned and fed off of like Leah's advice is just about like the financial aspect to like make sure you're set before the trip. And because I don't usually do my research on that, but you'll hear her side, and I loved it.
Yeah, as a budget traveler, I'm like, okay, get all the finances in place before I leave so there's no issues while I'm abroad, because I had those issues while I'm abroad. I don't care to run into them ever again.
Yeah.
So I think my favorite tip, which is surprising coming from me, is not drinking in airports or on airplanes. Not because I can't, but not because, you know, there's an issue, but just because I feel 10 billion times better when I get off the plane and I can just hydrate with some water.
That's true. She does say it's go time once the plane lands.
It's
so.
go time. Once the plane lands, I just hold it in for a while, you know? So.
Amazing. But besides drinking alcohol, what you got? What you got going for us
So
today?
Trizzy and I went to Honu Coffee and Newhall up in Santa Clarita. I got an iced dirty chai. So a dirty chai is a chai latte with a shot of espresso mix in. So it's delicious. What about you?
That sounds intense. I got a London Fog, which is basically like an Earl Grey latte. They sprinkle a little vanilla syrup in there, and I just love it. It kind of tastes like, as my cousin will describe it, like Fruity Pebble cereal. Like once you pour the milk in, it just tastes like that. So if you like that,
yummy.
That's what it is. And yeah, here's my tea. Cheers to another episode. The Ticket to Anywhere podcast is excited to team up with Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas. You have the chance to win 2 tickets to see the show Mystère on the Las Vegas Strip. All you have to do is tag a friend who you go to Las Vegas with. Leah. Tag them in our social platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, even our YouTube channel, Facebook comments.
The intermission is over. Mystère, which is the original must-see Cirque du Soleil show, combines powerful athleticism and high-energy acrobatics, and it's perfect for the whole family. See Mystère, now performing at Treasure Island Hotel and Casino on the Las Vegas Strip, Nevada. Don't forget to tag in any of our social platform networks or on the YouTube channel who you're bringing to Vegas in order to win this contest. We are announcing winners at the end of October, so be sure to enter by October 25th. That is the deadline. Enjoy this episode.
Hey there, it's Trizzy and Leah, your hosts for the Ticket to Anywhere podcast.
We created this travel podcast for you, who's just as obsessed with exploring the globe as we are.
We each travel a different way and even have different work schedules, but every episode we aim to widen your worldview, inspire you to consider a destination near or far, or learn from others.
With us, you can adventure from anywhere. Keep in touch with us on social media at Ticket to Anywhere Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Never miss an episode by subscribing to Ticket to Anywhere Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Pocket Casts. and hit subscribe to follow our visual podcast on YouTube.
If you find value and enjoy our episodes and special guests, please rate us and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It means the world and it helps others discover us as well. You can also leave comments or reviews on our YouTube channel or Facebook page. Be sure to search for Ticket Number 2 Anywhere Podcast. Take a screenshot of whatever episode you're listening to and tag us in it on Instagram, or send this episode to a friend if you think it's helpful.
And if you'd like to provide monetary support, you can support our work by buying us a coffee. Just head to buymeacoffee.com/ticket to anywhere. So this is staying physically and mentally healthy while you're traveling. And the first category we want to talk about is how we're staying like physically fit and healthy while we're abroad, while we're on the road, and while we're traveling. So I can go first. I think one of my biggest points is walking anywhere and everywhere. And I know you can agree with this, but just getting the blood flowing, making sure that you're relaxing, you're reaching your 10,000 steps if that's what you participate in. But it's also just honestly like one of the best forms of cardio I've learned recently that is something you can scale up, scale down. You could walk, you can add incline to it, you can walk on a flat surface, and it's not as hard on your joints as your knee or your knees as if you have problems like me.
it was an Olympic sport.
Yes.
In Tokyo.
Speed walking.
And I was like, what?
They're literally speed walking at the pace a normal person can run a mile.
That's crazy.
Like they're speed walking at like 6:50, which is how long it takes for one person to run a mile. I cannot run a 7-minute mile.
Not anymore. That's for sure.
Okay, and the second thing that I love to do, I always bring a few, maybe not as many as days there are on the trip, but vitamin C packets. The small vitamin C packets, kind of like the Crystal Light packets that you just empty in your drink, empty in your water bottle.
Yeah.
And you mix it up and it gets you like 1,000% of your vitamin C per day. Too much vitamin C for me, it like wrecks my stomach.
No, that's true.
So I usually try to do it like every other day, every few days. Definitely before I go on the trip, just to like get it into my system. But I always bring a few with me to try to upkeep my system while I'm traveling.
Yeah.
And they're easy to put anywhere.
Yeah,
like,
they're
put them
tiny
in your purse.
packets. You do get them at Costco usually? Or?
I actually really like Sprouts brand flavors. Sprouts is I think it's like a Southwest or West Coast grocery chain store. But they're like 30 cents a packet, and they have like cucumber lime, elderberry, mixed berry. Yeah, they're way better.
Water flavor.
I know. Way better than like Emergency flavors.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, you can use packets like Emergency as well, which you can get at Costco or any big box warehouse store, Sam's Club, etc. The next thing I do, which is surprising because we all know I love a good party. I love going out, love getting my drink on. I don't drink alcohol before flights and on flights. I did it once. It wrecked my system. I had the biggest headache on the planet, and I just did not feel good. And I'm like, especially if I'm going to hit the ground running wherever I get to where I'm going, I don't want to feel so bad on the plane. So surprisingly, Leah does not drink in the airport. I don't have an airport drink. It's very odd. Just hydrate on water. And I don't drink on the flight either.
That is really
surprising. Bar
surprising.
cart, goodbye.
When she told me that, I was like, what?
I know, how sad is that? She's like, you don't drink on flights?
I don't either. I don't really drink in general.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a surprise to
I know.
if I said, I don't drink on flights.
But the second that flight lands, where them drinks at? Gotta make up for all the ones I didn't have.
Right. Is it just flights, or what about long bus rides?
That's a good question, because usually the long bus rides I take are through the mountains of Peru, so definitely don't on those, because even without alcohol, those are like,
it's rough,
so long haul bus rides, usually not. So I forgot to say that. I was gonna say like train rides you could, because they're very smooth.
Kind of, for a person like you probably,
but
trains still get to me too.
Really? Yeah. Okay. All right. Frequent rest and recovery is another one of my points. So this is like coming from someone who like loves a party, like I just said. I'll go out how many days in a row, but I know, especially I'm a little bit older than I was backpacking 8 years ago. But I understand when, like, okay, if I go out one more night or one more time or one more day, I'm not going to be good the rest of the trip. So I will be like, okay, I need like a rest and recovery day. And I'm not talking about just like partying either, but I think taking, and this will lead into like the mental one for later, but like taking breaks from maybe large groups of people if you need to like reset and recharge, taking time to be alone, that's still considered like rest. Maybe do things that you need to take a step back rather than being social and being on all the time. But like there's more to rest and recovery than just sleep, right? Yeah. So it's taking time for yourself, resetting the mind, maybe doing some meditation. But for me, a lot of it means every third day taking off from going out or being social. That's like what it means to me. And I think that's something I built up during years of traveling. It's not something that maybe if you're younger, I don't know, maybe if you're younger, you're prioritizing that. But when I was younger, I was not prioritizing rest. I was prioritizing seeing everything I can, which I still try to do, but within reason, right? Yeah. I don't want to burn out so much that I end up hating the last half of the trip.
No, I feel you.
So, yeah. And, this is an interesting one. Taking a break from going out to eat.
Oh, on trips.
Yes.
Oh.
Because especially, I'm a long-term traveler. Right. I'll be gone for a month, 3 months at a time. Yeah. So of course that's different because you can't eat out for every single meal. But sometimes, like even on a week or 2 week long trip, if you're in that country, you may just be needing something like plain, right? Or something to reset your palate, or you're just feeling really full from things. So like honestly, the things I always look for in every country where I can make like my own quick breakfast or my own quick snacks, avocado, tomatoes, you can put that on like a rice cake or a cracker or pieces of bread, make a sandwich. Tuna, because you can mix all that in even, and tuna comes in cans. Like I eat it out of the can, but that's just me. Rice is always easy because it's filling, and it's pretty much everywhere. And then eggs are an amazing source of protein, and like a lot of the stuff I just mentioned, like those 5 key ingredients, you could like mix together.
Right, they go well together. I mean, minus the tuna, I don't do that.
I know, I could.
You got the eggs for the protein, you got the avocado for the healthy fat, and then you got your carbs with the rice and rice cakes or something, right?
Absolutely. So, and then the tomatoes for vegetables. Or are they a fruit?
That's a question that will always linger in my mind.
I think they're mainly
because they're seeds, right? Like
they are.
So they are.
Wait, vegetables don't have seeds? No, they do.
Fruits have seed. Vegetables, like think of a carrot. So would that make a bell pepper a fruit?
It's
all jalapeno peppers.
That's what I wondered too. That's the first thing I thought of was bell peppers. I was like, are bell peppers fruit then?
Can anybody educate us?
Yeah.
Drop it in the comments. Let us know what you think a tomato is.
But lots of fruit too. Hopefully to replace my processed sugar intake, because we all know processed sugar slows down the system. It's not exactly great for you. If you're in a country that has amazing fruits, especially a tropical country, like it's like desserts, it's snacks, it's breakfast, it's everything.
Yes.
So, and then I'd say the last thing that I do, like physically for, to keep healthy and fit and take care of myself while I'm traveling, is I make sure everything I owned is like clean and washed, either wiped down or free of dirt, of stains, of blah, 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 whatever. And I try to, even though I'm not the most organized physically sometimes, try to like repack and keep all my stuff in one place or keep it so that I know where to find it. If I'm on a long haul trip, I'll repack just slightly so that I'm not like losing my mind and everything's all over the place, but just trying to keep, I guess, my personal belongings like tidy and clean and usable.
Right. Easy to grab.
To grab, like, so that they're easy for the next time that I'm going to use it, etc. Yeah. Okay. So those are my top things to stay physically well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And when you wash and clean, that's your Dr. Bronner's talking, right?
Yes, Dr. Bronner's 18-in-1. Y'all, if you haven't used it yet, I need to turn you on to it, because I was just telling Trizzy right before this, I use it, just the basics. What I use it for is body wash, shaving, and washing my clothes when I do not have access to a washer dryer.
Awesome. All right, so what I do physically on my trips is I am using a lot of my body. Basically what I do at home is what I do on my trips, but not as slow pace, because when you're on trips you really got to go.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks in some ways, because you really want to take your time and pay attention to your form. But if you guys have a phone, download these apps, Nike Training Club, Nike Running Club, Home Court. Those are all the physical aspects that I use. So Nike Training Club is an app that has tons of workouts from a lot of their trainers, and you follow them either through a guided video, or there's like rep-based one where you just pace yourself, right? And you mark it off. You just tap the screen and mark it off, and you're on to the next one. It's everything from full body workout to yoga. Now they've expanded into like nutritional talks too.
Okay.
So it's basically like a Nike blog in the app. The whole thing is like Nike just wants you to move. You have a body, don't take it for granted. So just move. And for those who are on trips at a hotel that does not have a gym, there are no equipment based workouts on the app. So you could do it at a nearby park. You could even do it in your hotel room or hostel, like usually like where there's a patio or a balcony or some place, wherever you're staying at. Create that space for yourself to just squeeze in a 15 to 30 minute workout, maybe even an hour. There's also like quick 5-minute ones to help you stretch and get ready for the day as well. The Nike Running Club is actually pretty cool. It's basically a running app, like Garmin, Fitbit, anything that you use to track where you've ran. But I kind of love to do it on at least once on my trip, just so I could go back and be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I ran along the Dubai Marina.
Yeah.
An experience that you don't take for granted, and you could just look back and be like, wow, like I'm proud of myself for doing that, for getting my butt up in the morning and, beating the crowd and taking advantage of the space that's around me.
Heck yeah.
And then the Home Court app is what I love to use on road trips, because I could bring a basketball and I could dribble anywhere I want, find a nearby basketball court, shoot around, and it'll track my progress. It'll track like me just having fun, like being in the game. So it's good for kids, good for adults. So highly recommend it. So check that out. And what I love to do as well to recalibrate my body when I land is just to stretch and do some yoga. Because you've been on a flight for X amount of hours, and there you go. And so I feel like that will bring you into like a mindful place, which we will get into on the mental health aspect. And these, I don't bring them all the time, but if you have any resistant bands or loop bands like these, it's easy to pack them in, and it's good for if you're rehabilitating anything. Like for me, I just had a shoulder injury, and a lot of the exercises that I had to do was with a resistant band. So easy to pack, bring it with you. You can do it in your hotel room if you're too embarrassed or whatever.
Good for stretching also,
And Leah brings vitamin C. I have these things that are very similar, but it's like more full of electrolytes, called the Liquid IV. I get it from Costco. The flavor is amazing. It's a little bit on the sweeter side, I would say, but I just add more water than it it requires. So that helps me kind of like refuel my body for the next day. Same thing with Noon tablets. They are just really they have different kinds. There's one for sleep. There's one for vitamin C, like immunity, and there's one for energy.
Noon tablets.
But they have like tons of other like flavors and categories.
Are they is Noon the brand?
Yeah, it's spelled N-U-U-N.
Okay.
Yeah. And I learned about them because during my half marathons, they would always be a sponsor. So,
all right.
Yeah. And one thing that I love to do at least once is just wake up early to see the sunrise, at least once on the trip. It doesn't have to be every day, but sometimes it actually turns out to be every day because of jet lag. But that is that puts you in your place to, you know, one, start off the day, and two, just appreciate where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you time lapse your sunrises?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't do it every single time.
Not every single
time.
time. I feel like yeah, we'll get into this, but I don't try. There are times when I'm like, I don't want the phone. I don't want the
that's
camera,
true. That's
you
true.
know?
That's true. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
That's basically it. That's me in my physical aspect. When I'm traveling, I like to, you know, stay active, stay fit.
Okay, so another big part of like staying fit and healthy while traveling, while on the road, while abroad is the mental and emotional aspect of it. Whether you're going on a week-long trip, a weekend away trip that could be for your mental health, or you're backpacking South America for a year, right?
Yeah.
So I actually broke down my like mental health, like being mentally well on the road, into like a pre and during.
Okay.
So beforehand, I have 3 things that help me. I ensure my finances are set. So put things I need to on auto pay off any debts to like people or stores or whoever.
Yeah.
Make sure that I have decent money in all of my accounts, just in case I need to use them for, you know, different cards for whatever reason. Like we mentioned a few episodes ago, definitely ensuring that you have a debit bank card that withdraws cash, that has no foreign transaction fees, and returns all your ATM fees, right? Making sure that your travel alerts are set, bringing at least one bank debit card, withdrawal card, and at least one credit card at the very, very minimum. The longer the trip, the more accounts I travel with, I've found, like just in case, right?
Yeah.
So that ensuring the finances are set gives me peace of mind. Cool. And ensuring I know how to get cash when I land or when I arrive.
That's actually really smart, because I feel like that's one thing that I don't really research. Is ATM, or like finding place where I could get my monny.
Yeah.
I do it when I'm there, which is somewhat of a bad idea, I feel like.
I think sometimes. Also, but like, I don't know, I try to be really budget. So I think I'm always just kind of like focused on, okay, what's the cheapest way for me to get money and that I'm like not straight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think just because everyone knows like we travel so differently, but I'm always so, I don't want to say worried, because I'm not worried about money.
You're
but
prepared.
It's like, I try to be prepared, like in case there are any surprises, in case something doesn't work. Because I've been in situations where I'm like, oh shoot, I can't get money here. I'm going to need to think of another plan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I never exchange money in the U.S.
Yeah,
like I always get it on the ground. But that's because I have banks that have no ATM fees and no foreign transaction fees. So.
And also I learned that it's better to exchange big bills. I don't know if you've heard that. So
when you're in the country?
Exactly.
Okay.
When you're in the country, exchange for like $100 bills. 50s are fine, but 20s, 10s,
Damn,
5s, 1s,
okay,
don't be doing
hundos. Only exchange $100 bills, y'all.
Yeah. And if you're like me, you got $1,000 bills, because
I was like, if you're like me, you got 1,000. Sorry.
Just for the rich. JK.
We eat the rich around here.
Far from rich.
I know. But yeah, that's I'm glad I could help you out with that tip, like ensuring the finances are set.
Sure.
Yeah, just because I've been in situations where like account, you know, locked me out, or I didn't have enough money in this one, so I'd have to move money. So I've learned from many a mistake and many trips to make sure that's all covered before I leave. So.
Gotcha.
Telling close people, my, family, close friends, of my general plans, just so they have an idea, because usually when I'm on the road, my plans will change.
Yeah.
But even while I'm on the road, I'll tell people, hey, I'm not going there anymore. I'm going there, and I'm going there on Saturday instead of Thursday. Just to give people back home peace of mind. Also, just to be prepared, not to be morbid, but if anything happens, like I want people to know where I was last, so that they have a starting point.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, let's check it out. It also limits, especially for like parents and siblings and whoever, like it limits the amount of bombarding of questions that I get, what's your plan? What's your itinerary? Blah, blah, blah. So just informing people of plans.
I will want to plug, like before Leah went to the Philippines, she had sent me her rent that was due like the following month, because she was spending a month in the Philippines. And I was like, this is smart, you know, finding a friend that will pay your rent for you, you know.
Yeah. So, yeah, a good friend that will pay my rent for me.
On time.
On time.
Okay.
I did that a few weeks ago with Mexico, too.
Yeah.
I gave my sister rent money. I was like, here, give it.
Exactly.
One thing I want to go back to also with telling close people my general plans, I usually tell people in slightly different circles, too. So that it's not all like the same people that like know where I am.
Yeah.
Especially when I like lived in Vegas, I would definitely tell people back in LA, tell people, and I'm not talking like, I'm not telling like 17 people, I'm telling like 3 or 4,
right?
Just so that one person from each circle that's close enough to me knows of my plans, so that you know, there's just more than my mom knowing where I am. So that's just me. That's for my peace of mind. That's also for everyone else around me to limit the amount of questions I get. Okay. And the next one is actually a really big one, and Trizzy and I talked about it a lot, especially in our earlier episodes, was not letting the haters go to you before a trip. And this includes people talking about how do you get all that money to travel, and like, why are you taking so much vacation time, and like, do you even work? I'm talking about questions like that, which gosh. We get frequently. Yeah. And honestly, I feel like those questions are just a reflection of of yourself. If you're genuinely curious and you, I don't know why I couldn't say that word. If you're genuinely curious and you DM us asking, that's different. But there are people that show up on social networks or say it to your face or send you a text, and it's very clear that they want the world to see what they're asking you these kinds of questions, which honestly I feel like are kind of rude, like out of place. Like I said, if you're genuinely curious, you would DM us and be like, hey, help me, like I want to learn, or like you know, I'm just so curious as to this. But I feel like I always sense, you know, these kind of jealousy. Yeah. Well, I feel like I sense jealousy in those kinds of questions. And it's half the time they're like people we're barely connected with, you know, and it's just people who have too much time on the internet. And it's always easier said than done to like not let the haters get to you, but you have to know that it's more of a reflection of themselves and what they can and cannot do versus what you're doing. Because I'm sure if you're planning this trip, you've got the vacation time, you're being smart about your finances. Right. You're doing all these things. I mean, even in the beginning, I got resistance from family. Why are you going on such a big trip to South America? I was like, look, this is my plan. Yeah. This is where I'm going. This is how much money I've saved up. This is what I'm doing with my career. Yeah. Type of thing. So, you know, not everyone always has things planned out like that, and I understand that. But it's you can't let people bring you down when you're about to do a fun or courageous thing. Right. It's hard. It's really hard to, you know, let it come in one ear and out the other. Sometimes it gets to you, but know that this is your trip, this is your time, and no one should be raining on that parade.
Exactly, as if you weren't like nervous about it in the first place enough, you know. Oh yeah. Like, and that just makes you doubt yourself, but seriously, don't. Just, you know, one what is it, in one ear out the other.
I mean, I get that people have genuine concern, maybe, that like, oh my gosh, like you're quitting your job to travel, like what are you gonna do after? And it's like, I mean, for me, I'm like, don't worry, like I have all these different paths that I can go down, you know. I always say, you know, have backup plan, have a plan B. But if you let these, final thought on this part, if you let these haters and these people who are reflecting their own insecurities get to you, you're never going to go on the trip. You're never going to get there, you know? And it's like, they're not even the ones going on the trip. Why are you concerned about them? Yeah. That's all I got to say on that. Right. And then so during the trip, for as far as taking care of like my mental and emotional health, being alert but not scared. Yeah. Super, super important. Always taking note of your surroundings. Go with your gut, the biggest thing. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't like where you're going, you don't like blah, 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 whatever, you know, be open-minded, but be very aware, be vigilant, you know, don't be scared to leave your hotel room. If you are, maybe it's time to like switch locations, you know? Yeah. Like maybe go somewhere where you're more comfortable. But travel is very personal, as my good friend Jess always says, like, be alert, but don't be scared. Yeah. taking time for myself, I mentioned this earlier, time to get away for the crowd, to rest, relax, recharge, making sure I insert those little breaks. Like, I go out to eat alone all the time back home and abroad. That is my time to like recharge, look up what I need to on maps, any information, read, or even just stare. Like, we're always looking at devices and books and screens.
Yes.
Just staring like into the market or 50 feet away for like 10 minutes, looking at nothing or looking at everything. Like, that's good for your eyes.
Hell yeah.
It's a break from screens and electronics, right?
Mm-hmm. So what I do mentally is on my trips. And like I said, with the physical and the mental, everything that I do at home, I bring it onto the trip. Try to keep something regular so it's not too much of an adjustment.
That's a really good point. And I'm so curious to know how many of you listening or watching out there do the same thing, because I do not do that. And I felt like the last few episodes, Trizzy has mentioned that. And I'm like, I need to start bringing elements of a normal, everyday life that is my life on when I travel.
Right. And
So
it's important for you because you solo travel.
Yep.
So you have to bring some sort of comfort with you that you have from home. So whether it be working out, meditating, or something physical, like I brought an air diffuser to Maui, it will definitely help you be a little bit more calm, just a tiny bit. And speaking of calm, the Calm app is my mental break, my mental health, what's that word? Comfort that I use. They have guided meditation, they have deep breathing. You could, if you're having trouble meditating, and a lot of people are like, oh, I can meditate for 30 minutes. That's an accomplishment, but a lot of us cannot meditate for that long.
No.
You could do 2-minute meditation, and they'll have like a bell for you. They'll have sound baths. They have like artists and celebrities just talking you to sleep.
Oh,
like
yeah, Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Right?
Ariana Grande, they like remixed one of her songs. I forgot what it's called, but
What?
I love that version. It's really chill. They have Sam Smith and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah. But
okay.
it's really, really helpful, and I've used it for flight anxiety. Like once I sit in my seat, you kind of get that anxiety growing in you. Make sure you download one of the options, one of the sleep stories, one of the white noises, or one of the soundscapes, or anything on that app you're able to download just in case you can't get internet to play.
Really good.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I do is I usually just download it before I board my flight, and then I play it when we take off, and it helps me either fall asleep and forget about that anxiety, or it just helps control it a little bit better.
Okay.
And if you have Kaiser Insurance, they are offering free Calm app, I believe, lifetime membership.
Wow. Okay.
And one of the main things on trips is just being mindful. Practice mindfulness. And this goes into just like Leo was saying, walking, you think it's like a physical thing. Yeah, the movement is physical, but it's mainly to help your mental as well. So when you're walking, just be mindful of your surroundings. That's why we're outside. We feel the breeze on us. You feel like your feet hitting the ground, and you smell like the grass or the plants around you. So that's mindfulness while you're walking. And try to avoid using a lot of technology. Like, I know if you're in the Colosseum in Rome, maybe just take all the content that you need and then put your phone away and really just be there.
That's exactly what I do.
Exactly.
Yep.
And eating. A lot of people don't think of mindfulness as they're eating. And the Calm app actually helped me think of this. Like, oh, how do I mindfully eat? But basically, you're just chewing, and then maybe count your chews. A lot of people are eating fast, and that's not a good way to help your digestive system, because your food is still in clumps.
It's like that I Love Lucy episode, right?
I don't know.
I think there's the I Love Lucy episode where she's like she's trying to avoid going somewhere or something, or something starting. So she's taking like 50 bites for every for every piece of food that goes in her mouth.
She's like, I'm not leaving until I'm finished eating or something. Oh, that's hilarious. Well, yeah, you could do that if you don't want to go out. But you know, if you're in Thailand, savor the flavors that they have there.
Yeah, especially Thailand, right?
Yeah, especially Thailand. Like, you taste that basil, taste the ginger, the lemongrass, the what is it, the kefir leaf.
Yeah,
Girl,
so good.
Stop me there.
So
Stop
good.
me there. So just practice mindfulness when you're on trips and when you're at home too. So after the trip, once we come back, it plays an important role. Like your recovery, you need to think about that. I don't know how many of you guys out there go right into work afterwards, or you give yourself like a day or two to kind of recover, but hopefully the latter. Stretching and yoga, definitely do that. Like I said, any flights, any bus rides, any train rides, anywhere where you're just sitting for a long time, like just think of stretching, think of doing some yoga, and a massage will help. I know during this pandemic, it's people are kind of like I don't want to go to a massage, but if you just, you know, squeeze your body a little bit in the pressure points, that will help.
Or get a massage gun, like Trizzy mentions
gun,
in episode 26.
That's right.
Of Travel Gear.
Get one of those. I even have leg compressors. Those are
like
magical.
Socks?
It's like, yeah, basically.
Okay.
So it like hugs your thighs and your ankles and calves. Amazing. And just basically just take care of yourself. Think of it as like a long self-care Sunday until you get back to the same time zone, you know, till your body gets back to the same time zone. So bubble bath, love them. Put on a face mask, do like a facial steamer, you know, take care of what your body has been through. You know, you've been in the sun for 2 weeks, hopefully 2 weeks, all right? And then you got to put some aloe vera on it, you know? Take care of yourself. Recovery is just as important as what you do before your trip and during your trip.
100%. It's like the gym when they say, I heard lately actually 48 hours between workouts is ideal if you're like lifting heavy.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what? Maybe it's different for like HIIT or a spin class, but if you're like lifting, they're like, 48 hours recovery. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But you do notice a difference.
You do.
These were all such good tips, and we want to know from you out there what you do to keep physically healthy and well while you're traveling, what you do for your mental state, your emotional state, and that includes, you know, overcoming obstacles when it comes to like other people as well, not just yourself. So leave us a comment, drop us a note, hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of our platforms, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Ticket to Anywhere podcast. Don't forget to connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. If you love travel as much as we do, hit subscribe on our YouTube channel, as well as anywhere you listen to podcasts such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Pocket Casts. Thank you all for your support so far. When you have the time, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We love to hear your thoughts and feedback, and it'll help others come across our episodes and hopefully be inspired to travel and adventure anywhere.